Good morning, everyone. My name is Mutiara Rahmat Putri, the head Oceanographic Research Group in ITB. Today, I want to talk about our research with the title Lessons Learned from the Changing Oceanographic Condition on the Coast of Jakarta Bay for a better Balikpapan Bay is Kalimantan in the frame of planning the new capital city of Indonesia. Our team consists of the researchers from ITB itself, Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, Mula Warman University, Deep Sea Research Center, and this year our research collaboration with the world's top university. Our collaborator is Professor Thomas Bormann and Dr. Bernhard Meyer from the University of Hamburg in Germany. Of course, we supported by our student. This is the outline of my presentation. Let's start. This is the territory of Indonesia. Until now, Jakarta is the capital city of Indonesia. However, in 2019, there has a plan to move capital city of Indonesia to East Kalimantan, precisely to the Penajam Pasir Utara, which is an area in the northwest of Balikpapan city. If we look from the Jakarta Bay towards to the Jakarta city, we will see the tall buildings. In contrast, if we look at the Balikpapan city from the Balikpapan Bay, we can see the forest, mangrove forest, people, houses along the coast. This is because the Balikpapan Bay is still natural and several sites of the coast. Generally, the both city, Jakarta and Balikpapan, have geographic similarity. The cities face to the base, Jakarta and Balikpapan base. The two bays have estuaries from the several existing rivers. Morphologically, there is a difference where the Jakarta Bay is wider and shallower, while in Balikpapan it's narrow, shallow at the mouth of the river and the deep in the middle of the uh, Balikpapan Bay. Good planning is needed. The negative changes in Jakarta at the moment are expected not to occur in the future in the Penajam Pasir Utara. We must learn from the changing oceanographic condition on the coast of Jakarta Bay for the better future in the Balikpapan Bay. So let's look at the bathymetry and the Jakarta Bay with the depth average about 15 meters. With the rapid development of the Jakarta city as nation's capital, there have been significant changes in the Jakarta area, including in the coastal area. The large number of people come to Jakarta causes a lack of housing and other facilities. So now we can see along the coast of Jakarta there is a reclaimed area. Jakarta itself faces to Java Sea, where the ocean dynamic of Java Sea is seasonal. Now the bathymetry of Balikpapan has some rivers. Balikpapan has some rivers, and the depth under 30-meter depth in the middle of the bay. The ocean dynamic of Balikpapan Bay, influenced by uh, the water mass from Makassar Strait, is well known by Indonesian true flow. So in Indonesian true flow is dominantly find influence to the Balikpapan Bay. To learn how the oceanographic conditions in Jakarta are changing, let's look at the some fundamental factors that influence it. First, based on the Yuan and Sang in 2018, the sea surface changes of Jakarta Bay on 1971, 2000, and 2011. Figure A. During the high tide, the boundary line between influence from Java Sea and the coast of the Jakarta is almost unchanged. This indicates that the tidal effect is stronger as the input river discharge or coastal influences. During the low tide, it can be seen that change occurred in 2000 and 2011. It can be seen the river discharge is getting bigger and passing the front line of seawater and coast influences further away from the coast. This can indicate that rainfall from the runoff or the runoff from the coast is getting bigger from here to here. This is supported also the residual current in the figure G. So changes in bathymetry and ocean dynamic in the Jakarta Bay, as we mentioned before, have an impact on changes in the recent year. The rapid and massive changes in the city, Jakarta city, can affect one of which is the condition of the ecosystem in Jakarta Bay due to the influence of marine pollution. Let's look our study about oil spill and marine debris in the Jakarta Bay. So let's start with the oil spill. In November 2015, we found the presence of oil in tarpals form and thin films in the south coast of Pari Island. Pari Island is here in the black box here in the middle of black box in Kepulauan Seribu, Jakarta Bay. The picture in the right hand, this one, is the situation of drilling oil drilling and oil pipes lines under the sea, and we make some analysis based in the numerical modeling. First, verification of three-dimensional trajectory model for oil spill. The blue line is our observation using the drifter at the surface water, and the red line is our model. The result of three-dimensional trajectory model show that the particle motion is shorter than the observation using a drifter. This can happen because the three-dimensional model of particle can fluctuate according to the density and the current, just like the particle in the water column. So the model can actually describe the condition in the water column, while the measurement using drifter still move on the seawater only. Seawater only. Still using three-dimensional model, our simulation are carried out backwards, starting from the location of the discovery oil film, this one in the south part of Pari Island. And after being simulated 5 days back, it was found that particles came from about 28 kilometer northeast Pulau Pari, northeast of Pulau Pari. It can be predicted that the particle found in the south of Pulau Pari come from the oil drilling and oil pipelines in the northeast part of Pari Island. Then in the November 2018, we found the macro marine debris floating off the Jakarta Bay and stranded also in the southern part of Pari Island. If we simulate the trajectory model for only floating macro marine debris, meaning that it has lighter density than the density of seawater, most of it is spread in the north west or towards the Pari Islands. Most of the source of which are estimated from the East Flood Canal or the Banjir Canal Timur, this one, and also from Cengkareng River. Maybe because this area has a large population in Jakarta and large river district. Early 2020, we began observe microplastics as a pollutant in Jakarta Bay. From two stations that have been analyzed, namely in the southern part of Pari Island and also Muara Karang in the Jakarta Bay, it was found that there is six non-plastic particles and seven microplastic particles in 1,000 liters. If we assume the condition is the same, so the area of Jakarta Bay itself is 1,054 square kilometers, and the average depth of Jakarta Bay is about 15-meter depth. So the volume of Jakarta Bay will be 7,7 billion liters, of which there will be 53 million uh, microplastic in the Jakarta Bay area. So amazing the changes of marine environmental in Jakarta Bay. What happened if Balikpapan Bay will become the national capital area? Unfortunately, research in Balikpapan Bay has not much compared to the Jakarta Bay. So let's take a look at the current condition in Balikpapan Bay. As mentioned before, Balikpapan is narrow and deeper in the middle until 30-meter depth. The bay overlooks to the Makassar Strait with the path of Pacific Ocean water mesh to Indian Ocean. Conditions of marine dynamic, chemistry, biology in Balikpapan Bay are dominantly influenced by water masses from Pacific Ocean through the Indonesian through flow. Currently, condition condition in Balikpapan area, so the outer side of the bay, there is many flooding marine aquaculture, road and bridges construction over the Balang Island is already finished. This one, and also almost side almost all sides of a bay are mangrove forests. There are approximately 150 hectares of mangrove forest on the east side of Balikpapan Bay, with 20 types of mangroves and 3 families of bekantan. This is the local primates. In some parts of this forest already looks very few trees. The following is a physical oceanographic condition in Balikpapan from the observation on March 2020. The tidal condition has a time very. The tidal condition at the time is were full moon, so influence from freshwater mist from the river and seawater mist can be seen in the middle of the Balikpapan Bay. It's about 15 until 20 kilometers from the mouth of the bay. It can be seen also in the vertical distribution where the influence of seawater enters the bay and fill almost the water column in the Balikpapan Bay. On the other hand, during the neap tide, we observe in June 2021, The new observation in Balikpapan Bay show that during the flood condition, freshwater mass from the upstream to the bay dominate the water column of the Balikpapan Bay. So the fresh water is dominantly in Balikpapan Bay. During the condition, the fresh water still affect the outside of the bay, especially in the surface water, while on the side there is still water mass trapped in the Balikpapan Bay for sometimes in the Balikpapan Bay. This one. So in order to prepare a plan for the development of new capital city, we also needed to plan for better Balikpapan Bay. The prediction from the assimilation ocean model for 115 years of seawater temperature show the increase of seawater is 0.06 in 10 years. Variation in ENSO and Pacific Decadal oscillation (PDO) make variation in the trends of seawater. There has been a shift in the ocean climate in Balikpapan Bay in the last 50 years, especially in the March, April, and May, with the temperature increasing 1.5 until 2 degrees Celsius. This can be influenced by natural conditions of global climate change, but can also triggered by human activity such as deforestation, forest fires, industry, and others. Sea level changes of Balikpapan has strong correlation with the climate variability of the ENSO and also PDO. The trend of sea level changes is about 5.4 millimeter per year. So this is our conclusion. From learning about the changes in Jakarta Bay due to the development of Jakarta City is not expected to occur in Balikpapan Bay in the future. So the plan to move the country's capital city from Jakarta to the North Penajam Pasir Utara area is expected to improve the economy, avoid environmental damage, oceanographic, and changes in marine ecosystem in Balikpapan Bay. Environmental observation and research need to carry out continuously, as well as a good planning to carry out the development in the new nation's capital for the better Balikpapan. Thanks to IDB for funding the world's top university collaboration research to 2021 with the title Numerical Assessment of Coastal Environmental for New Capital City of Republic Indonesia in Balikpapan Bay is Kalimantan, and also study of resiliency marine ecosystem due to climate change and human activity in relation to development of national capital city in the Balikpapan area is Kalimantan, funded by Ristek Bin 2021. Thank you for our the student and our collaborators. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.